Good morning, sisters. Just gonna bring a little stool over. That's better. Alrighty. How are you today? See, can you hear my music? All right, beautiful women. It is week 2 of December and of our sacred closing to this year and this chapter. So we are going to be doing a writing exercise today, acknowledging, admitting, and celebrating. That is the theme for today. And so I welcome you to this sacred space. And I welcome your courage and your vulnerability in coming back, showing up for yourself, and for the closing of this cycle. We are doing a writing exercise, so you'll need pen and paper. And I want you to do this on pen and paper, not on your laptop or notes in your phone, but actual pen and paper. So I'll give you a minute to go and grab that if you don't have it handy, and then come on back. So it is almost the end of 2021. The next few weeks are a perfect time and a perfect period of time to do a bit of a life review, some self-reflection, and not just for this year, but for every area of your life. A time to ask what has been working for you, what is still working, and what is no longer working. To end this chapter, whether it be the end of a year, or a relationship, or a job, or a cycle, it is really great practice to re-examine your thoughts and beliefs every so often, and to do it in a sacred ceremony space, to re-evaluate what matters to you and what your intentions are moving forward. It's a good chance to clear any stored emotions, repressed memories, traumatic experiences at a cellular level, but then also even at a quantum level if that resonates with you. It's a great time to heal, to release, to let go, and move forward. So what we are doing today is a practice. It's a ritual. Pouring out our feelings on paper and asking for help in letting go from yourself and also from your community of sisters here. Consciously surrendering to this situation with that hint of gratitude, that smile on your face. There is no better way to learn about your own thought processes than to start writing them down. So I'm sure we've all had a moment in our past where we explored having a secret diary. When we were young girls in school, we used to be able to buy those little diaries with a little lock. Not like that would stop anybody, but you know. And having this diary was important, but it is something that we kind of go through a phase of. I know I did. I was never one who really got into diary, like having a diary or journaling for, and continued to do it. So it is a place where we confess our struggles and our fears without judgment or punishment. That place when we were a little girl where we finally had space to write down who we had a crush on or who was bullying us, picking on us in school. Maybe the things that we couldn't say out loud to anyone else. And so it felt good to get all of those thoughts and feelings out on paper, out of our head. And so it allows the world to seem a little bit clearer. It frees some space in our mind. And Did you stop using a diary once you got to adulthood or into high school? I mean, I did. But the concept today is now journaling, and it still has all the same huge benefits. Writing down our feelings and our thoughts so that we can understand them clearly. And if you struggle with stress or depression or anxiety, keeping a journal is a really, really great idea. And a lot of teachers, like qualified experts, psychology, counseling, therapists, always recommend to write, to journal. And if you don't write, or that's really hard for you, then to draw. It's about getting things out of your mind and onto paper. It can help you gain control over your emotions, and it really does assist in improving mental health. So writing things out on paper helps you to create order to your world when it might feel a little bit chaotic. So it gives you the chance also to get to know yourself by revealing your most private fears, most private thoughts and your feelings. You can start to look at your writing time as your personal relaxation time. It can be a time where you can de-stress and wind down, and finding this place that's relaxing and soothing. Have a cup of tea, have a coffee, have a glass of wine, and really just let your thoughts flow onto paper. It can become a habit, and then something that you can really, really look forward to. And you know that what you're doing here, when you're writing or you're drawing, just expressing from mind to brain to paper, it's good for you. It's good for your body. It's good for your soul. It's good for your mind. It's good for your brain. It's good for all of it. So what we are writing today is going to be our most honest truths. No one else is going to read what you have on your paper. So I really, really encourage you to please allow yourself to be real. Painfully real. In week 4 of December, our closing ceremony for this year and for December, we are actually going to burn these papers. So that's why I need you to write it on actual paper and not in your phone or your laptop, because come the end of the year, our final ceremony, we are going to be releasing into smoke everything that we write today. So grab your pen and paper, and we're going to start owning our shit. We're going to start speaking our truth. And it can be uncomfortable, it can be painful, and you might meet a lot of resistance, but take it step by step. I'm going to give us 2 minutes today on each reflective question. If you need more time, you can always come back to the replay of this and pause it and take as much time as you need. Okay? So the first 5 questions, we've got 10 questions today. The first 5 questions, we're going to be accessing some uncomfortable places. Some shame might surface, some judgment might surface, even feelings of resentment. But it's important to be real with yourself here and know that if you hold back or lie in your answers, that's not affecting anyone else but you. You are limiting your own healing when you hold back on expressing your truths. Remember, no one else is going to be reading what you write, so you can be brutally honest with yourself. Allow yourself to feel those emotions when you speak from your heart. Let yourself cry, let yourself get angry. In these moments of admittance to ourselves, we can start to access liberation. So the first 5 questions are going to be quite deep on that. The second lot of questions, the last 5, we're going to be accessing our happiness, our proudness, our celebratory moments. We all have highs and lows in our lives, and it's this contrast that is the vital key to us finding elation and joy and living the human experience. So your first question, and I forgot to bring a clock or a watch in here for me to time, so grab your pen and paper. I'm going to grab myself a clock. Okay, I'm back. So we'll put a 2-minute timer just for today. I've got some nice music playing here. You can always make yourself a cacao, burn some candles, some incense, and yeah, make your journaling, your writing, a ritual experience. So going deep, my beautiful sisters, question 1, and I'll give you some time to write it out. What regrets did you acknowledge or release last week? So video 1, we spoke about, which was last week, we spoke about our regrets. We spoke about what regrets are, what they mean, and releasing attachments. So if you haven't watched that video, you can go back and watch that, or you can just answer this question, trusting that your response is going to be authentic. But your question 1 is, what regrets did you acknowledge or release last week? 2 minutes starts now. Remember to breathe. Close down your eyes and feel into your body with these responses. Twenty seconds. Okay, question 2. And now if you haven't seen that video from last week about attachments and regrets, that's fine. You can answer this from your heart as well. The second question is, what unhealthy attachments did you realize that you had after last week's video? If you haven't watched the video, maybe you can ask yourself, what unhealthy attachments do I know that I have right now, that I'm ready to admit to myself? Two minutes starts now. You can remember, or you can remind yourself that your attachments don't just have to be things. Your attachments can be to the process. So needing to be in control, needing to be able to do everything, taking your time, breathing through this process. Letting it be uncomfortable. 20 more seconds. Okay, question 3. What goal did you set for yourself this year that you didn't accomplish? And why? Again, be brutally honest with yourself. What goal did you set for yourself this year that you didn't accomplish? And why didn't you accomplish it? And do your best not to blame anybody else here. I'm sure there are some circumstances where that might be completely valid, but we're also making this our personal question time, our personal reflection. We always have a choice, no matter what people on the external are doing to us or asking of us or forcing us. So be real that we don't try to put everything else on someone else. I didn't achieve my goal this year because so-and-so did this and it ruined it for me. Or, you know, I think you understand what I'm saying. But 30 seconds to go just for today. Pause this if you're watching the replay and take your time. But yeah, it is important to own yourself, own your shit, own your decisions and your choices, and be real. Okay, question 4. Are you living in your truth? If yes, what does this mean for you? If not, why and what are you afraid of? Are you living in your truth? If yes, what does it look like for you? What does it mean? And if not, what are you afraid of? I feel like as women, we hide from our own power because we can be afraid of our own power. It's scary to surrender into your full permission of embodiment because it can be a lot to be a sovereign, empowered, sensual goddess. That energy and that confidence can be daunting and that can be scary. So if you are finding that you are not living in your truth, what are you truly afraid of? What is it that is stopping you from being that woman? 30 seconds. If a lot is coming to the surface for you, it's sensations in your body, emotions, then get up, give yourself a shake off, dance, do some breathing, have a big drink of water, ground yourself, and then come back. It's important to allow these feelings to move through you when they arise and not to just sweep them under the carpet. So question 5, and the last of our more uncomfortable reflective questions, is what is the biggest limiting belief that you've been carrying around lately? This is a big one. What is the biggest limiting belief that you have been carrying around lately? This might be something that you've noticed has been a consistent throughout this whole year for you. Maybe it's something that keeps rearing its ugly head and that you've been fighting with since you were a little girl. Maybe it's something that's just started recently. And if there's more than one, list them. If there is pages and pages of these limiting beliefs, great, list them all, because when we do our burning ceremony, you are removing those from your energetic field and from your mind and from your body. So list as many as you want. 2 minutes. This can be any limiting belief around your body image, around your work, your business, your relationships, the way that you communicate and connect to yourself. Any area of your life that you know you've been building a wall, stopping yourself, telling yourself that you can't. This is our last uncomfortable dive question, so really, really let yourself put it all out there. "30 seconds. Whether you are joining me live today or you are watching the replay, I recommend you to go back and watch the replay and pause and spend more time answering each question. We can feel a little bit rushed and flustered, so sometimes it can take our mind a little while to surrender into the experience. So take your time. And now we're going to shake that off. So we're halfway through. If you haven't yet got up, shake off all those limiting beliefs, all of those regrets and attachments, the things that you didn't achieve. And now we're moving into a more enjoyable part, our last 5 questions. So be proud and honor yourself for the honesty and vulnerability that you just showed up embodying. You got to remember to celebrate. Even in the uncomfortable times, celebrate that you accessed honesty. Celebrate that you are showing up and you are putting in the work to better yourself, to connect with yourself more, to understand yourself more, and to release these things that no longer serve us and that we do not need to carry into the next chapter. So well done for you, to you. Question 6. What did you achieve this year that makes you feel super proud? If there's more than one thing, fuck yes, good on you. Write them all down. Be proud. Take up space. Boast. Ooh. This is your time. you'll notice how your energies start to shift now. You'll start to feel excited, you'll start to feel happy, elated, joyful. Maybe from sitting hunched over, you're now sitting tall with your chest open, proud of yourself when you start listing all of these achievements that you have made this year. Okay, question 7. Were there times where you accessed your confidence and stepped out of your comfort zone? List all these things. The things that were really, really hard for you to muster up that courage to do, but you got there and you did it. So listing all of those things that you stepped out of your comfort zone and did. I hope by answering this question and remembering that there are moments where you have stepped out of your comfort zone and done things that you thought you would never do or you would never be ready to do, I hope that listing them down helps you to realize just how incredible you are. And maybe next time you reach a point where you think, I can't do that, like I'd love to, but I just can't do that, you can look at this list and be like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Accessing that empowerment, it is such a big feeling. A lot of women say that about my Naked Awakening workshops. I could never do that. Oh, I love that. I love that this is what you're doing, but I could never do that until they do it. Thirty more seconds. Question 8. If fear, money, or doubt didn't limit you, how would you live your life? What would you do differently? Who would you be? Where would you be? If fear, doubt, money, or anything else that you put in your own way didn't limit you, how would you be? How would you live? Where would you be? sometimes it's hard to think about what we would do if there was no limits, because for a lot of us, we've never even entertained that thought because we feel and believe that it is so unachievable. So you can get silly here. It can be as wild as you want. I wish I owned, or I would own my own island, right? I would travel into space. The things that you would truly do without any limits. No limitations. What would you do? How would you live? Who would you be? 30 more seconds. Okay, question 9. What would you do differently if you knew nobody would judge you? What would you do differently if you knew nobody would be judging you? Maybe this is also, how would you act? How would you dress? How would you show up if you knew there would be no judgment? Who would you be? Imagine that woman in your mind, that person. Would you snort when you laugh because nobody would judge you? Would you wear your pajamas everywhere you went because nobody would judge you? Would you eat the way you wanted to eat and the food you wanted to eat because no one would judge you? Would you not wear makeup? Would you stop sucking in your belly? Would you run on the beach in a bikini because no one would judge you? Feel that freedom. List all these things down. 30 seconds to go. And your last question, question 10, what is your best memory? Your fondest memory? Now, if that's too vague, not too vague, if that's too hard to think of, like for your whole lifetime, then make it just your best memory of 2021. But I want these videos to be timeless. They don't just have to be for the close of 2021 or December of each year. Access these videos whenever you feel that you are ready for a release and you are ready to call in and manifest your true alignment. So if you want to write down what your best memory of your life is, then do that. If you want to write down what your best memory of 2021 is, then do that. And if you have a couple of outstanding moments that you will never forget and bring you the most joy in remembering and reminiscing, list them all down. Here we go. 30 more seconds. And these fond memories that you are thinking of, they don't have to just be with other people. They can be moments in time with just yourself. Moments where you have done something that you have just blown your own mind with. But those are our 10 questions. And I am celebrating you looking at these last 5 questions, and I want you to celebrate yourself. The answers that you've written down here are powerful. So what we are going to do with this paper, or papers, however much you've written, maybe you scribbled it down, maybe you need to go away and rewrite it out more neater, you can add more things, but separate the first 5 questions to the last 5 questions. So we are going to be burning those first 5 questions in our ceremony at the end of the month, and we are going to be keeping the last 5 questions so that we can look at these and remember and celebrate ourselves. So the more that you celebrate your wins, the more of what you're celebrating is going to come into your life. So that's why it's important to keep these last 5 questions and your answers and put them somewhere where you can see them daily and celebrate yourself every single day for those wins. Because when you are living in that vibration and in that manifestation and that alignment and that calling in of energy, more of that is going to come your way. So keep your pages somewhere safe until our women's circle. Add to these pages over the next few weeks. More things are going to come to the surface for you. Let them flow onto these pages, and I'll see you next week for week 3. Lots of love to you, sisters. Enjoy this replay and take your time. Remember to be honest with yourself, because when we hold ourselves back, we are only limiting our own healing. I'm celebrating you and sending you so much love. See you again soon.